What is up, guys? Welcome back. So today we are jumping into our next episode of the How to Paint series we are doing for the Monster Fight Club's Borderlands Kickstarter that we recently got. Now, here's the thing. My copy did not come with Moxxi. I got the box of Badasses, I got Skags at the Gate, and I got the core game. So I did not get the unmasked Tina. I do have a Tina, but she has the mask on. And I did not get a Moxxi. So we went around this. We got a Moxxi. Now this Moxxi that you're looking at, I have a huge statue of this same model. Obviously way more detailed because it is a humongous statue. I did not get to paint that statue yet. I am planning on doing that with you guys for a video. But here is our start with doing this. So let's pull up Torgue from yesterday. And that is scaled next to her. So she's a little bit higher because I had to put her on a bigger base. Because, I don't know if you guys can see, but that base is extremely small that she's on. So I wanted to kind of work around that and put it on a bigger base. I can build up the ground around her. She is dry brushed. She is very small. So we are going to try to tackle this. I do have a reference photo, which is the exact same model. So we're going to use that. Your Moxxi is going to be different, obviously, because yours came with the Kickstarter. And mine is just in a different pose, and she's standing on a loot chest. You can paint her up the same way. She is the same character, so it's not going to be any different. And you can paint her up any way you want. You can paint her up in a purple outfit. You can paint her up in a red, pink, blue. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you want to paint it like because it's your model. But if you want to stay close to the actual character, then you can follow my way of painting. So let's get the reference and get going. Okay, so right here you can see that's her right there. And this definitely does have different photos, angles of her, so I can go all the way around and get a good image of it. I have to be very careful with, I can't surpass that point because I think the point after this is, I'm already seeing it. So you can print this model different ways, with clothes or all the way without. And I'm not trying to show you guys that point because we're obviously on YouTube. So, So you can check out these photos if you want to paint it, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to start painting our Moxxi, and hopefully she looks pretty good. She is a lot smaller, like a shit ton smaller. Compared to this, my statue in the other room is like that big, maybe. Like she's definitely as tall as the monitor itself. Like she's literally that tall. So yeah, like she's pretty damn big. So this is going to be fun getting her painted up. I want her for my bunkers. Like who doesn't want a Moxxi in bunkers and badasses? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like I need that shit. So let's start painting. So the big trick here is to not make her look like doo-doo. So I'm actually going to say that she's more on the scale of like Malifaux. But it's kind of weird because she's just as tall as like other characters. So maybe it's that she's so skinny compared to them. But we're going to start off with the skin. I like to use a brown rose to base it. And then once we get that on, I'm going to say we will move on to red. Because she has a lot of red. Plus the box is red. Now, I do want to state that her fishnets over here, since this is such a tiny scale version of that model, they did not show up. So we are just going to put a skin tone there. I think that would be the best option for us because there is no netting there with how small this printed out. But that's fine, because who cares? So, because it's fucking Moxxi, like shit. So let's get the skin tone on there, and then we'll move on to reds. Okay, so our skin tone is now on there. Now we're going to move on to red. And red, there's multiple spots of this model that are red. Some are darker red than others. So what we're going to do is we are going to, I'm noticing the darker red is actually this on her brassiere. So her left brassiere, or your right if you're looking at her. The rest is like a brighter red. So maybe we can do a dab of a darker red on this one, and then the rest will use a lighter shade. So I think I'm going to do a burnt red for the boob, and then we will do a dirty red for the rest of the red. So we're looking at basically all of her outfit. Her hat is also red. We are looking at, I think there's like a earring or something that is also there. So we got to look at that. And her outfit all the way around, obviously. Her boots are white and black, so yeah, so it's mainly the outfit. The feathers are a yellow and like a turquoise blue. I don't think I have a turquoise, but I think I can make up a color for it. Maybe use a light blue for it. That's probably what I'm gonna have to do. So the cool thing about painting, right, is that you can mix paints to get a color that you're looking for. So I did find something that can give us that turquoise color for her necklace and her necklace and the feather up top. So what I did was I mixed a pastel green with a little bit of that Russian blue lights, and then I did a dab of the olive green, and we got a good little turquoise color. I think it'll work. So we're gonna hit our necklace up with that, and then we're gonna hit that feather up, and then we can go on to browns. I think we're gonna, she does have a couple browns here, like her belt and her gun holster, stuff like that. Her hair is also brown, but I might actually just use a speed paint brown for her hair to save me some time and headache. So let's get this turquoise on and see what it looks like. Okay, so now we're gonna hit her leather browns up. Now I don't know if I'm gonna actually hit the leather browns on this with a leather brown speed paint because they are really fine and they're really tiny, but we'll see what we can do. This model is so little, so I'm gonna see what we can do when the time comes. Alright, so now let's move on to the yellows. Yellows are going to be, I know we got to do off-white. I fucked up already. We got to do off-white. So the off-white is going to go on the sleeves here, and the spots that aren't where you stripes. So basically the white parts of the stripes. And then you have to do the top half of these. And you also want to do, well, no, we'll save that for like a gray. And yeah, I think that's basically it. So just those pieces. So now we can move on to the yellow. And what we're going to do is we're going to use an ochre yellow. And that's just going to put all the yellows in the spots that we need. So it is literally around the trim of her dress. So the trim of the bra area underneath here, it goes underneath the darker one that we did. And then it goes around the whole trim of the actual dress itself. The feather up here is yellow. I would like to say there is some trim on her boots, like one line that goes around the top there, but in between the white, so like it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm gonna try to get that in there. This miniature is extremely tiny, so I'm gonna try to work with it. We're gonna do that and then see what we can do. Okay, so lastly, before we start doing our glazes, we're going to use a warm gray, and that's going to be on metallic areas, like on the box here. We're also going to do it on her little wristband thing here, because it's spiked and it's metallic. We are also going to do it on her little belt piece back here. Very difficult to see, but it's in there. And I think that is it. And then we will be able to go ahead and put our glazes on. Okay, so I'm still going to try to do it. I'm going to use the leather brown on the leather parts. See if it works. I'm going to use the fur one for her hair to kind of lighten it up a little bit. And then I'm going to use Gravelook Gray on everything else except for the skin. You don't want to put any on the skin because we're going to build up the skin. And of course we do, when we do our highlights and everything, we do have to work on her face after we highlight all the skin and do all that, because she does have like white makeup. She has like the little rosy cheeks and the lipstick, so we have to still do that as well. Alright, at this point, while I'm letting these dry, I usually would hit the ground up with a Iron Oxide. I will be doing that, but I think I'm going to take my shot at doing these fishnets real quick. I want to do it now before we start highlighting and building up stuff, to see if I can manage it and make it work. I'll make it work, but if it looks like doo-doo, then I'll just keep it the way it is. Alright, so I think we have something we can manage with. That looks like fishnets to me, so we're keeping that. Alright, now we can do our highlights. We got the ground drying, so we're going to highlight everything else, and then we'll come to the ground and fix all that stuff. So we're going to use the same colors we've been using to highlight, because now that we have all of these colors dyed down with the shades that we used, or the speed paint, we can now use the same colors because they will then be lighter. And then we're going to work on the skin tone, build it up a little bit, but then we are going to work on her face, because her face needs to have a little bit of makeup on it, and yeah, she'll be done. And here's Moxxi, all ready and done, ready to get into my bunkers of badasses. This model right here, even though being so tiny, I made this thing look so fucking good. I am so happy with this. I want to just give a huge shout out and thanks to Josh, my buddy, that 3D printed this for me. This is amazing. I think this is going to be so badass in my game. So glad to have this. Guys, I'm super happy with the way that Moxxi turned out. Like, that right there, it's fucking Moxxi right there. Ooh. Yeah, so I'm really happy. Like, I was really upset that my copy didn't get the Moxxi. I was really wanting a Moxxi model. So Josh really came through and he really 3D printed me. I mean, it's the same file as the big statue, but it works just as well. Like, if I could paint it looking this good right here, I could definitely make that statue look really good. But I think we're gonna 3D print it again, because I put it all together before thinking about painting. Like, now when I do commissions, I basically like paint it all up and then build it so you don't miss any spots. And back then I was just dumb, because like I didn't think it would make it any easier, but it does. So yeah, that's another thing. Like, you learn as you paint, and you pick up on things, and you progress as you paint. So if you had any help with this today because of this video, be sure to leave this video a huge like. Also, if you know anybody that needs help with their painting journey, go ahead and share my videos with them, because maybe it'll push them in the direction to paint their minis. Sometimes people just need that little bit of a push, or maybe an idea of just like, hey, you know, I want to get my stuff painted. What's the way to do it? And this hobby, I can say, is scary getting into, because a lot of these models are expensive. Warhammer. But you're not going to mess it up. You build it, you paint it, and if you don't like the way you paint it, you just repaint it. And you practice. The best thing to do actually is to get some practice miniatures. You can go to your local hobby shop and you can buy some like WizKid miniatures that are like not painted yet. Do not buy the Dungeons and Dragons ones. I like Dungeons and Dragons, but I don't like their models. Their models look like turds. It just looks like the pre-painted D&D models look like doo-doo, okay? Do not buy those. You're better off painting. If you're shitty at painting, which if you're new, you might be, which is fine, you'll get better. You'll probably still paint way better than those models. I promise you. So, give it a shot. Pick up a brush. Try it out. And if you're not good, you'll get good. That's the thing. You can't just say, you can't just, it's like somebody drawing, right? You can't just pick up a pencil and just draw a masterpiece. It's something that you learn, you pick up, and after a long time, it's something that you can do and you can conquer. So just keep that in the back of your head when you're looking at a model and you want to paint it, but you're like, oh, I don't have the skills for it. You don't have the skills for it because you don't want to try. Give it a try, okay? And this is not me being an asshole. This is me trying to be positive and push you in the right direction. You're not going to get good unless you start practicing. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, it would be really appreciated. We did surpass 800 subs, and that was amazing. I'm so glad that we've kind of hit that threshold. Yes, I'm not at 1 billion subs or millions of subs, but the 800 that I do have, I love you guys. I love that you guys support the channel, and you guys have checked in on me and checked out the videos, commented on my channel. You guys are all amazing. So thank you so much. And that's about it, guys. Remember to leave this video a huge like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all in the next one.